Ms. Bailey, Dr. Brown, make sure all your principals are present. Meeting of the Mississippi Achievement School District. Today is January 22nd, 2025, and once again, the time is 4 p.m. The meeting is now called to order. We're now at the adoption of the agenda, and the agenda is adopted as presented. We will begin with our discussion action items. 3.1, approval of recognition of the Yazoo City January 2025 monthly board updates for 2024-2025. We'll begin with Dr. Brown for the Yazoo City School District.
Good afternoon, Dr. Watkins. The Yazoo City schools will be presenting their January 2025 monthly school board reports. Our first school is McCoy Elementary. Dr. Epps, are you logged in? Okay, I do not see Dr. Epps logged in, so we will move on to Woolfolk Middle School. Ms. Dr. Belcher.
Good afternoon. I'm here to present the monthly school board update for Woolfolk Middle School. Woolfolk Middle School has been identified as a comprehensive support and improvement CSI school. Our current accountability is a 325D, which is a letter grade of D.
So
For reading, our percent proficiency is 17. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
We hear you.
For reading, our proficiency rate is 17. For math, our proficiency rate is 23. For science, our proficiency rate is 33. Our proficiency for growth of all in reading is 58 and 55 in mathematics. Our percentage of growth for the bottom 25% in reading is 68, 71 in mathematics, and we have a participation rate of 97.29%, leaving us with an overall total point in grade of 325D. For the month of January, our total school enrollment is 452. Our student ADA is 91.63%. Percent of students with 2 or more absences for the month or chronic absences is 32%. Our teacher attendance rate is 90%. Number of discipline referrals for the month of January is 31. Number of classroom observations, we have 10 learning conditions and 10 core actions for ELA. We have 10 learning conditions for math and 7 core actions. For science, we have 3 learning conditions and 3 core actions. Describe how the school is addressing areas of challenge presented by the data noted within the document. The school will continue to implement the embedded remediation intervention schedule for each and every student. A schedule has been created to address all of the students' needs. Based on the data from the benchmark assessment and observational data, we have adjusted our PLC and PD calendar to provide targeted professional learning. We have created Biweekly Standards Institute PLC for teachers to aid in helping them to unpack the standards to ensure mastery of the standards being addressed. We have created an observation and feedback form to provide teachers with immediate, tangible feedback. We are updating improvement plans for teachers to aid in building their capacity. We have scheduled MDE professional development sessions for math departments to aid in implementation of the HQIM and use of calculators. We have created a standards mastery tracking to aid teachers in developing remediation intervention plans to success based on the student's need. What the district has done to provide us with help in that area, we have been provided by the admin and the teachers with coaching and mentors. They have provided professional learning for both admins and teachers, and they provided feedback and next steps from district learning walks. Allocation of resources for school improvement funding 1003. For FY25, the remaining balance is not available. For FY24, the remaining balance is to be determined. For FY23, the remaining balance is $84,890. The allocation of resources for title funding for FY25, the remaining balance is $27,557.84. For FY24, the remaining balance is $2,797. And for FY23, the remaining balance is $4,000. Below, I will give you our current proficiency levels based off each subject area and grade. For grade 6, our English Language Arts for level 5 for term 2, we had 10 students to score level 5. We had 19 students to score level 4. We had 7 students to score 3B. We had 20 students to score 3A. We had 4 students to score 2B. We had 15 students to score 2A. We had 17 students to score 1B and 0 students to score 1A. For the LPS group in English Language Arts for grade 6, levels 5, 4, and 3B, we had 0 students. For 3A, we had 1. For 2B, we had 2. For 2A, we had 9. For 1B, we had 12. And 1A, we had 0. For mathematics for 6th grade, the proficiency levels of level 5, we had 0. Level 4, 16. 3B, 11. 3A, 23. 2B, 23. 2A, 10. 1B, 11. And 1A, 0. For the LPS group in mathematics for grade 6, levels 5 and 4, we had 0 students. 3B, we had 2. 3A, we had 4. 2B, we had 9. 2A, we had 5. 1B, we had 5. And for 1A, we had 0. For grade 7, English Language Arts, for proficiency, we had 5 students for level 5, 13 students for level 4. For level 3B, we had 11. For 3A, we had 27. For 2B, we had 20. For 2A, we had 54.
Excuse
For
me, Dr.
1B, we had
Belcher.
28.
Excuse me, Dr. Belcher. Mr. Dixon, scroll on down to grade 7. All right, thank you.
We had 0. In the low performing group, LPS, level 5, we had 0. Level 4, we had 1. 3B, we had 0. 3A, we had 2. 2B, we had 2. 2A, we had 20. 1B, we had 20. And 1A, 0. For 7th grade mathematics, level 5, we had 4. Level 4, we had 44. 3B, we had 16. 3A, we had 64. 2B, we had 20. 2A, we had 8. And levels 1B and 1A, we're sitting at 0. For LPS mathematics grade 7, level 5, we had 0. Level 4, we had 6. 3B, we had 6. 3A, 21. 2B, 12. 2A, 5. And 1B and 1A, 0 students. For 8th grade English Language Arts, level 5, we had 1. Level 4, we had 24. 3B, we had 21. 3A, 37. 2B, 29. 2A, 24. 1B, 37. 1A, we had 1. For the LPS group, for grade 8 in English Language Arts, level 5, we had 1. Level 4, we had 4. 3B, 2. 3A, 5. 2B, 8. 2A, 10. 1B, 15. 1A, 1. For 8th grade mathematics, level 5, we had 3. Level 4, 28. 3B, 12. 3A, 46. 2B, 44. 2A, 30. 1B, 9. And 1A, 0. For LPS for mathematics for 8th grade, level 5, 0. Level 4, 2. 3B, 1. 3A, 13. 2B, 17. 2A, 13. 1B, 5, and 1A, 0. That concludes the report for Woolfolk Middle School.
Thank you, Dr. Belcher. Let's go back to the beginning of that part. Scroll down again, Mr. Dixon. Let's go back to that. Because I want to make sure that the public who sees this understands exactly what's happening here, because this is the first time we've presented this part of a report. For those of you who are not aware in regards to how school districts and schools get their points, it's based on how these numbers move. As you can see, the proficiency levels on the left side of each column, you see proficiency level 5, 4, 3B, 3A, 2B, 2A, 1B, and 1A. And then that will be true. Those proficiency levels are broken down that way for English language arts, for mathematics, at the elementary and middle school level, grades 3 through 8, and then for English 2 and Algebra 1 at the high school level. However, what you don't see here for 5th grade science, 8th grade science, for the elementary school and the middle school, they only get proficiency level 4 and advanced points level 5, but they're not included in this report. Here, this is just just to show you how we're getting points and how growth is factored in. So starting with MAP 2024, each school then must grow students in regards to what happens each benchmark. So we give a benchmark exam every 9 weeks. And in every 9 weeks, we do a projection of how well our students are moving. So if you look at Woolfolk's English Language Arts grade 6, they started out with a baseline map data from the previous year, from MAP 2024, with 4 students with level 5, 25 students with level 4, 17 students with level 3B in 6th grade language arts, 18 students 3A, 9 2B, 5 2A, 14 1B, and 3 1A. The objective is to move all of our numbers upward. First of all, levels 5 and 4 should never drop. They should never drop. We need those to increase. And then all of our levels from 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, we need those numbers to continue to move up to demonstrate growth and for more students to land in levels 4 and 5 so that we can get growth points as well as proficiency points. That's true for English language arts overall, which is what you see right here. And then with the LPS group, where you heard Dr. Belcher reference the bottom 25%. What happens is that the state will take all of the scores, rank them from top to bottom for ELA and mathematics of the previous year, and then calculate 25% of the students counting from the bottom up. And that's how we get our low performing student group, which is the 25% that you will sometimes see or hear about. So, and those category points are placed inside of the block that you saw Dr. Belcher initially present to you before she got to this part. So we need all of these numbers to continue to move up. Proficiency level 4 and advanced level 5, we do not want to drop. We want those to continue to increase, and anything from 1A to 3B, we want to continue to shift upwards from term to term. So when you go from first term benchmark 2024 to second term benchmark 2024, you want to see, first of all, from MAP 2024, you want to see those numbers go up and maintain in levels 5 and 4. And you want to continue to shift up at term 2. So we're coming up to term 3 in March. We want to see those numbers continue to shift up. And when they don't shift up, then we have to continue to intervene around wherever there are misconceptions around in regards to what students are being taught or how they interpreted the assessment so that we can fix that before they get to the MAP exam. That's how we're getting our points. These numbers must always shift upward from term to term. Now, it's far more complex than what I'm presenting it because it goes inside of a tracker. But we wanted you to see just in general what happens with the proficiencies for us as we are tracking it from term to term. Always keep in mind from first term, from when you compare MAP 2024, the original state tested data from 2024, and you compare it to first term 2024, you want to see a shift upwards. When we test again in second term benchmark, compare back to MAP 2024, you still want to see that shift upwards. You do not want to see numbers drop into lower categories. You want to see it continue to shift upwards. So parents, community members, if you have students in our schools in grades 3 through 8 and in English 2, Algebra 1, you want to ask them, what was your level projection based on your second term exam? You want to have that conversation with them and ask them, do you know your target for the MAP exam? Well, first of all, for high school students, they must pass the test when they take it. That's bottom line. But we also want proficiency, because with that, that's how we ensure that Humphreys County High School and Yazoo City High School will be B or A rated high schools, because we get more proficiency numbers in levels 4 and 5, and we can get growth numbers. Like I said, it's far more complex than what I'm explaining, but in terms of the academic part of it from the assessments, this will help you to see how we are tracking our numbers to ensure that we are using our resources wisely and we are intervening so that our students can get the support that they need. Parents, it is extremely important that we have our scholars in school every day so that we can teach them. We just don't want them to show up on test day. We need them to show up every day so we can teach them and get them ready for assessments. And some people might think, well, you're just teaching for the test. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have before you. The state has required us to take a test, and we get ratings based on their results. But also consider this: the better your child, the better our scholars perform on state exams, the better prepared they will be for the ACT. The better prepared they will be for dual credit, dual enrollment. The better prepared they will be for advanced placement. And when we can get them for those courses, then that next step automatically is for those students to get ready for college. So it all serves a purpose. And we have to have your collaboration and support to ensure that our scholars get what they need every day. Our schools are doing a yeoman's job to do the work that needs to be done. Our teachers are working diligently every day to prepare lessons that are engaging, but we need our scholars to show up ready. And your efforts can help us in that regard. That means we need them to show up with their resources. That means that whatever they need to do their work, whatever they need for utensils to do their work, their writing, their calculators, everything that's needed in that classroom, paper, pencil, minds on the work. Minds on the work, not minds on their phones, but minds on their work. We need your cooperation in helping our scholars understand that when they come to school, it's about shifting these numbers to where they can get the benefit for long-term access to higher level courses when they get to high school. But it also shows that our teachers are doing the great work that they're doing through this collaboration with you, with our scholars, and what's happening in the classroom. And also, our scholars in grades 8 and 9, who were 7th and 8th last year, received the benefit of a gift card because they had proficient and advanced scores last year. And at the high school level, they received proficient and gift cards for proficient and advanced scores in English 2, Algebra 1, U.S. History, and Biology. And our career and technical education programs, where students receive their industry certifications, they received a $50 gift card. Well, we're doing that again. But we have to have our scholars to show up ready to learn. So I wanted to take a few moments extra with Dr. Belcher's report, because she was the first one up. It would have been Dr. Epps, but she's on right now. We'll go back to Dr. Epps. But I wanted you to see this, and I wanted to share this with you because we must show up for our scholars every day so that our scholars can show up well on our exam. So thank you for paying attention to that. If you need any additional information, talk to your principal. Talk to your child's teachers, because they're supposed to be able to explain this to you as well. We don't approach this work blindly. We have spent a lot of time with our staff and with our scholars. So if your baby does not understand this in grades 3 and up, then you need to find out what's happening in their classroom and talk to their teacher, because we spent a lot of time on this, because we must achieve the outcomes that we're expecting. Also remember, in order to come out from under state control, each school district must receive 3 consecutive C ratings. We have our first consecutive C rating on both sides. We're going to get our second one this year. This is our year of Jubilee. This is our year of celebrations. And together, we're going to make it happen. So I'll stop there. We'll go back to McCoy Elementary School, and I'll yield to Dr. Austin and I see Dr. Austin, but I'm looking at Dr. Brown, Dr. Sumitra Brown, and Dr. Epps. I yield to you now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Watkins. I'm borrowing Dr. Alsa's computer. Dr. Epps, you are up next. Mr. Dixon will scroll on the screen, but you should have your copy as well. All right, Dr. Epps. Dr. Epps, you're on mute.
Okay. My apologies. I'm here to present the monthly school board update from McCoy Elementary School, which has been identified as a comprehensive support and improvement school. Our current accountability is 360 points earned, which is a letter C grade. Our overall school goal, the total points grade that we're striving for is 458. Our percent proficiency, overall school goal is 30 for reading, 30 math, 60 science. Our percent growth of all, 70 for reading, 80 for math. Our growth of the bottom 25% is 80 for reading, 100 for math, and our participation rate is a 95% plus. Our total points and grade for our second benchmark, percent proficient reading 10, for math 24, science 31, growth of all reading 27, math 58. Our percent growth of the bottom 25%, reading 33, math 53, and our participation rate was 98.4%. Our total school enrollment for January 2025, 841 students. Our student ADA is 91%. The percent of students with 2 or more absences for the month of January, 38.8%. Teacher attendance, well, this is December, sorry about that. Our teacher attendance rate was 71.3%, and number of discipline referrals is 4. Our number of classroom observations in ELA for learning conditions is 9, and core actions is 8. The percent for math, for observations, learning conditions 16, core actions 7. And our observations for our science, learning conditions 4, and core actions 4. What? So the school is addressing areas of challenges presented by the data noted within this document. So in an effort to address the deficits found through a review of the second benchmark data, the following has been implemented. Continue implementation of spiral reviews using benchmark and common assessments. Teachers will continue a spiral to spiral all standards that students did not achieve mastery of at least 60% using the ELS standard analysis report. We will continue weekly content area PLCs to identify gaps in learning and to identify effective instructional strategies for priority standards and to model effective instruction. ELA and math teachers in 3rd grade are co-teaching together. Instructional grouping has been put into place in 3rd and 5th grade ELA, math, and science. We're going to continue providing teachers with professional learning in the areas of writing protocols so that we may gain extra points in our ELA testing, small group instruction and data aligned interventions, MTSS appropriateness, differentiated instruction throughout the entire school, and explicit vocabulary instructions. So what the district is doing to support the school's principal and our SLTs, they're providing additional PD on MyView, the HQMI. We have had some extensive PD with MTSS, speech language screener PDs, external provider supports. We have Kirkland Group here for our 4th grade ELA and math. Catapult for second grade math, MDE leadership coach. We also have AmeriCorps that is assisting our second and third graders in ELA and math tutorials. We have a MDE K-3 literacy coach. We have PLCs for annotations and lesson planning, small group instruction, weekly data PLCs to amplify. And we also have Kirkland Group assisting our third grade ELA and math at this time. Right. So the allocation of resources, school improvement funding 1003. For our second benchmark, FY25 remaining balance is NA, not applicable. FY24 total allocations remaining balance is $76,180.82. FY23 total allocations is $30,616.66. Allocation of resources for title funding 1, 4, and 5. FY25 remaining balance is $10,000. FY24 remaining balance is $18.81. And FY23 remaining balance is $2,999.88. And so looking at our proficiency for our ELA math, ELA fourth grade and math fourth grade, as well as, let me see here. Yeah, looking at our math, our English language arts fourth and math fourth and fifth. So let me look here. What this
You're on mute, Dr. Epps.
Sir?
I said you were on mute.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. All right. So the LPS for ELA, we noticed an increase in our students at the level of 3A from 0 to 4 on the map. We noticed an increase from 2B from 0 to 2 on the map. We had a decrease of our students at performance level 2A on the benchmark 1 from 6 to 2. And we had an increase from 1B from 7 to 8 on our benchmark 1. So those are some trends we're noticing. We have a decrease in 1A from 5 to 3. And in our math lowest performing, we noticed a level, we went from our 5, we had from our benchmark 1, went from 0 to 1 for the benchmark 2. And then for level 4, we had from a benchmark 1, we went from 0 to 1 on benchmark 2. And then our 3B level, we went from 0 to 2 on benchmark 2. And our 3A level, we went from 1 to 2 in benchmark 2. For 2B level, we went from 0 to 1 in benchmark 2. We also had an increase in our 2A level from 2 to increase to 6 for math. We had an increase in our 1B from 9 to 13 with the benchmark. And in our 1A, we had a decrease from 8 to 4. So those were just some trends that we noticed there. All right. And so with our 5th grade, we noticed some trends that we had from our in ELA from our lowest performing group. We noticed that we had our lowest performing group for, it kind of remained the same for proficiency level for 5, 4, 3B. For 3A, we had one student, we had one for that second benchmark. And for 2B, we went from a level from 1 to 3. And on our 2A, we went from the first term benchmark 0 to 5. And previously for math, we were at 11. And from on our 1B performance level, we went from 19 to 17 from benchmark 1 to benchmark 2. And on our for level 1A, we went from 8 and for benchmark 1 to we decreased down to 4. And with our math, we had a trend of gaining 5s. From the first term benchmark, we went from 6 to 11. Same with our 4s, we went from 22 to 34. And our 3B, we went from 9 to 22. We had just a slight decrease from first benchmark 3A from 28 to 27. And we had a decrease from our 2Bs from 10 to 4. And we had a decrease in our 2As from 12 to 1. And 1B from 11 to 7. And our 1As, which had 0, still the same. And for our LPS, for our math, we noticed just a similar trend of going up some in our 4s. We went from 0, first benchmark to 2. For the and for 3B, and for our level 3B, we went from 0 to 6. And then for 3A, we had 5 in the first benchmark. We went to 11. 2Bs, we went from 4 down to 2. And 2A, we went from 8 down to 1. We decreased to 1. 1B, we went from 7 to 5. And we also had 0 for 1A for our first term and first benchmark, as well as our second benchmark. And that concludes the Buckle Elementary report.
Thank you, Dr. Epps. Dr. Sharon Brown.
Okay, I am here to present the monthly school board update for Yazoo City High School, which has been identified as a comprehensive support and improvement CSI school. Our current accountability number is 584, which is a letter grade of a C. Our graduation rate is 172. Our school's overall goal is 751, which is a B. Our proficiency level for reading, 34. Proficiency for math, 47. Biology, 35. And U.S. history, 48. Our growth of all goal is 75 for reading, 100 for math. Our growth of the bottom 25 is 76 for reading and 100% for math. Our second benchmark assessment results are our proficiency in reading was 19. Our proficiency in math was 30. For science, it was 8. And U.S. history, it was 25. The percentage of growth of all for reading is 66. Growth of all for math was 84%. Our participation rate was 94%. Our growth of the bottom 25 was for reading 73 and for math 94.
And Dr. Brown, what happens when your proficiency level, your participation level for testing is below 95%?
If it's below 95%, we'll drop a letter grade.
Which means that we need folk to come to school every day.
Every
We
day.
need all our scholars at school every day
Yes,
for
sir.
instruction and for testing. Parents, please,
Every day.
we need your support. When they don't test 95%, this C that they're projecting right now will end up being a D.
A D.
Just because
Automatically.
we test the students. So we need your support there. Thank you, Dr. Brown.
Thank you. Our total school enrollment is 521. Student ADA is 88.23. Number of students with 2 or more absences for the month is 38.5. Teacher attendance rate was 23. The number of discipline referrals is 8. Our classroom observations and learning conditions, we didn't do any learning conditions for any of the areas, but for ELA, we had 2 core observations. For math, we also had 2 core observations. Science, we had 3, and for U.S. history, we had 2. Some things that we are doing are, we will address those areas with continued support and feedback, our subject areas. Teachers will spiral the standards where students had low performance, checking for student misconceptions during instruction. Each subject area teacher has a coach assisting them with resources and strategies in the classroom. Biology teachers have access to STEM scopes as well as textbooks. Also making sure each teacher is strategically reteaching standards that will produce greater results. Talking with teachers to gain insight about what challenges they are having and how we can support them, and also peer observations. How the district is supporting principals is continued professional development, MDE conversations about our data, our teaching strategies, actionable feedback, teacher support, PLCs, and observations. The district has appointed a critical friend to support principals and to help guide the process of data talks with teachers. The district has appointed a critical friend to support principals and to help guide the process of data talks with teachers. We also have a leadership consultant. Our school improvement funding 103 for benchmark 2, the fiscal year 2025 remaining balance in A. The remaining balance for fiscal year 24 is to be determined, and the fiscal year 23 remaining balance is $5,384.84. Our Title I funding, the fiscal year 25 total allocations was $240,919.01 as of benchmark 2. The fiscal year 25 remaining balance is $36,400. The fiscal year total allocations for 24 was $245,160.35. Of benchmark 2, the fiscal year remaining balance is $15,927.24. The fiscal year 23 total allocations was $284,507.38. As of benchmark 2, the remaining balance is $20,472.76. Looking at our proficiency levels for our content areas for the second term, starting with algebra and starting with level 1A, we have 0 students. 1B, we had 1. 2A, we had 13. 2B, we had 13. 3A, we had 46 students. 3B, we had 20 students. 4, which is proficient students, we had 38, and 5, which is advanced students, we have 1. Looking at English 2, starting with the 1A, we had 0 students. 1B, we had 19. 2A, we had 30. 2B, we had 11. 3A, we had 40. 3B, we had 8. 4, which is proficient, at 20, and 5. Down to biology. For level 4, which is proficient, we had 21, and level 5, which is advanced, we had 0. For U.S. history, we had level 4, which is proficient, 48, and level 5, which is advanced, we had 9. That concludes the Yazoo City High School presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
Thank you.
Strong for Larry Summers, Career and Technical Center.
Good afternoon. I will share the monthly school board updates for Larry Summers Career and Technical Center. We do not have a school identification. The second benchmark assessment results are as following. For industry certification, our construction and carpentry and industrial maintenance program can earn National Center for Construction, Education, and Research certifications, the NCCER. First-year students have taken Module 102, 14 of 17 passed at 82% in carpentry and construction. In industrial maintenance, they have completed 2 modules. Module 107, 14 of 14 completed at 100%, and Module 108 for first-year students, 14 of 14 at 100%. Second-year students in construction and carpentry completed Module 104, 13 of 14 passed at 93%, and Module 105, 12 of 14 passed at 86%. And in industrial maintenance, they have completed Module 103, the second-year students, 11 of 11 completed, passed at 100%. In our automotive technology, they can earn the ASE, which is the Automotive Service Excellence Certification. We are preparing for that assessment, and it will be given March the 26th.
And if I'm correct, Ms. Strong, isn't it that the automotive technology class only assesses once a year?
Once they assess once a year, but the children are given 2 opportunities to take that test. They test the first time, and then in 30 days, they can test again. So we're giving it in March. So if they're not successful, they have an opportunity to take it again before the end of the school year.
And is this the same assessment that folks who might work at Walmart or any of the other reputable car repair shops, are these the certifications they have to work there as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so our students could have this certification in automotive technology, the AS Automotive Service Excellence. Did I remember that correctly?
That's correct.
That
Yes, sir.
certification and go directly to work,
That's
you know,
correct.
afterwards. So that's quite awesome. And I think you've done a great deal of work with your teacher to reestablish that program to the level of excellence that we needed it to be. And I really appreciate your leadership in that regard. And I see good numbers for the modules passing rates for your students. And let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are looking at this later, the certifications from construction and carpentry and industrial maintenance and automotive technology will also translate into the accountability rating for Yazoo City High School. So, which is why we're reporting out on this, because you need to know that what happens in those industry certification classes will translate in an impact on Yazoo City High School to a benefit. So this is extremely important. So we appreciate the work that our teachers are doing in construction and carpentry and industrial maintenance, automotive technology, as well as all of our teachers over at Summers CTE. But these courses actually impact the rating of Yazoo City High School. So we need to make sure that everyone understands that those students who, if you still have an opportunity, if you still have an opportunity to retake any of your modules, because I know you only have so many chances to retake, and if you have an opportunity, do what is necessary to retake it and perform well, because your certification, when you get it, will translate into a $50 gift card when you get your certification. So Ms. Strong and Dr. Brown were elated to, to give those gift cards out in December, and students had a great Christmas as a result of it. So, and we will be doing that again, Ms. Strong, for your students as well as for yours as well, Dr. Brown. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you as well, Dr. Epps and Dr. Belcher, for the work that you all are doing. Matter of fact, this time last year, we see some improvements. If you compare the benchmark results from January 2023 to January 2024 to January 2025, we see improvements. And so that means that if we hold, we can produce again and do better, which is what we are projecting, what we're working toward, than what we did last year. So we need your cooperation. We need your support, ladies and gentlemen, parents, scholars. Let's continue this path of improvement so we can deliver what we know you can to demonstrate that we have high quality, excellent scholars in Yazoo City. So I thank you, Yazoo City administration, and thank you, Dr. Samitra Brown, as our assistant superintendent for the Yazoo City School District. All right. And I believe now we will yield to Ms. Sarah Bailey, the Assistant Superintendent, Federal Programs Director for the Humphreys County School District.
Good evening, all. Wonderful opportunity to be here with you all this evening to share information about our schools. Dr. Watkins, we are presenting for your approval in item 3.2, the approval of the Humphreys County School Board updates for January of 2025. We will begin with Dr. Landfair at Ida Green. Once she concludes her report, we will move to Ms. Donna Thomas for Owen McNair. Subsequently, we will have Ms. Janina Tanner to present for Humphreys County High School. And then last, we will have Ms. Artrice Morris to present for TC Randall Career and Technical Center. Dr. Landfair, please proceed with your presentation.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Lamper, presenting for Ida Green. Ida Green is currently classified as a CSI school. That's a comprehensive support and improvement school. Our current accountability rating is letter grade F, and we're at a 216. Based on the benchmark 2 results, we are showing progress toward a C, actually. Progress toward a C or progress toward our goals. So for our reading, on our second benchmark, we were at a 29% proficiency, and we're 7 points away from our goal in that area. For math proficiency, 18%, we're 17 points away from our goal in that area. For growth of all for reading, 54%, we're 13 points away from our goal for that area. For growth of all math, 40.8 points in that category. We're 24.2 points away from our goal in that area. For our growth of our bottom 25 or LPS in reading, 80%. We are almost to reach our goal in that area. We are 10 points away from our reading goal for our bottom 25. For math, 35 points. We received 35 points from our benchmark 2 assessment results, and we are still got a lot of work to do with that bottom 25 math, but I'm confident that we will get there. We are 65 points away from our goal of 100 in that area. Okay, for our December data, our total school enrollment for December, 399 students. Our student average daily attendance, 94.40%. Percent of students who are chronically absent, 11%. Teacher attendance rate, 95%. Number of discipline referrals, 5. Classroom observations for ELA, we had 1 learning condition and we had 12 core actions. For observations of math, we had 2 learning conditions and 15 core actions. Our plan to address our benchmark 2 data, our 3rd and 4th grade teachers, they do re-engagement plans for ELA and math, and they do those spiral reviews, high dosage tutoring, and also teacher coaching. We have test incentives, strategic small group interventions, targeted PLCs for planning, data, and content, and the school as a whole takes more ownership of the data with our teacher department data protocols, our instructional leadership team data protocols, our student data chats, and we ensure that there's high quality tier 1 instruction throughout with that observation, feedback, follow-up, co-teaching, and modeling cycle. We have weekly newsletters that go home to parents, weekly grade reports to parents, and we do that MTSS for those MTSS fidelity checks. Now back up to how the district is supporting us. The district is supporting us in this area. We have district learning walks where we calibrate on different best practices, and that helps us improve our practices as well. We have leadership PLCs, we have the resource hub, we have a data management system, we have a critical friend assignment, and Dr. Shawana Powell, she's our critical friend here at Ida Green, and we have book studies. Okay, now down to our fund balances. For our Title IX funding, or Title I funding, our FY total allocation, we have $228,322.76. The remaining balance for the FY 25 is $54,673.87. For FY 24, we have $260,941.31. The remaining balance is $39,529.88. For our FY23, the total allocation is $220,670.01. And we currently don't have anything remaining for FY23. For our school improvement funding, 1003, our FY25 allocation is $100,000. That remaining balance is $100,000. For our FY24 allocation, our allocation is $108,279. Our remaining balance for FY24 is $98,803.06. And for FY23, the total allocation was $112,246, and there is nothing remaining for FY23. Okay, in our tracking proficiency document, I won't just read all the numbers. I'll just draw your attention to particular areas. But we have, as you know, we have third and fourth grade who count toward our accountability model here at Ida Green, and we're tracking our proficiency for our fourth graders. So for our fourth graders, as you see on the left, that's the number of students we had in each category based on our MAP data from last year. And we're going to look at that second term 24 data. Now, we see a large number of students in that 24. We see a large number of students in 2B, and some people will be like, oh, that's bad. But actually, that's not too bad, because that means we have kids who are growing. Because if you look here for our MAP 24, for level 1B, we had 18 students in 1B. So those 1B students are actually moving. And as others stated, we want to make sure that we see these numbers going toward that level 4 and level 5. So that's for the English language arts category. So we had a lot of 2A students to move to 2B, and we had a lot of 1B students to move to 2B also. Okay, our proficiency, or our level 5 for that area is pretty much staying consistent with that 4. It went up to a 8 for the first term benchmark, but we're back to a 4. For our level 4, we have a 9 in that category right now. We started out with 12, so we're still in that same range. It's not dropping too much, but we definitely don't want it to drop drastically, but we are seeing growth in that area. For our math, if you look at the math, we are seeing some improvements. We started out with 3 students with proficiency level 5, and now we have 4 students. We started out with 7 students in PL4, or proficiency level 4. Now we have 9 students. We have a large group of students here in 3A and 3B. We have 16 students there who we are pushing toward proficiency. So we have 16 students who we are pushing toward that level 4, level 5 category. Down here with our 2A, we have 1 more in that category, but those numbers are kind of staying the same, but we are still seeing growth in those areas. Okay, for our LPS, or our least performing subgroup, we don't have any students in our least performing subgroup in level 4, level 5 right now. None have reached proficiency yet, but I'm confident that we will have some to reach proficiency. For level 3A, we have 1 student currently in our LPS in that category. We have students moving, though. That's a great thing. Movement is always good. We have 6 students who are currently a 2B, and a lot of those students came from this 1B. When we first started out, we had 11 students in 1B. Now we're down to 2 students. So we do have students who are moving on up. And for math, again, we don't have any students who've reached proficiency yet, but we have 1 student that's a 3A in 4th grade math, and we have decreased the number of 1B students that we have. So we've decreased that in half. So we started out with 12, and now we have 6.
Well,
And
let me interject right there, Dr. Landfair. And for
Okay.
those of you who are not aware, Ida Green is the smaller of the 2 elementary schools in the Mississippi Achievement School District. So you will see smaller numbers there. So look at MAP 2024 for the LPS, low performing student group. Remember, we get that number by calculating 25% of the students once we rank the scores from top to bottom from the previous years. And then you get this. So for Ida Green, they have, according to this, 15 students in the LPS category, bottom 25%. There are no students in, there are no 1A students, there are 12 1B students, and there are 3 2A students. You remember I said each term you want to see the numbers shift. So when we take the third term 9 weeks benchmark, if that 12 students, that 1B, all moved up to 2A, and if those 3 students who are 2A move up to 2B, that's automatically at least 100 points in the LPS block for mathematics. Am I right, Ms. Bailey?
Yes, sir.
Because that means 100% of the students shifted upward. That's how important this is for every child to understand what their targets are and what does it take to do well. Once again, parents, we need you to talk to your scholars about what their targets are and how they know what they need to do, what they need to do in order to improve their proficiencies in their schools. And once again, with your support, we can get this done. But I wanted to point that out just to let you know, with these smaller numbers, what that impact means. When I say shift the numbers upwards, we start with the baseline proficiency understandings from MAP 2024. And you can see that clearly in the LPS category for mathematics for Ida Green. If you go over to the left for the LPS category for English language arts, they have 3 students in 1A, 11 students in 1B. So when we get to third 9 weeks benchmark for 4th grade, if those 3 1A students shift up to 1B, if those 11 1B students shift up to 2A, that's 100 points automatically in the LPS category block in the accountability model for Ida Green. That's how important this is. So I wanted to take an opportunity to point that out, since this is a smaller school with smaller numbers, because you can conceptually see it better with those numbers. So thank you for allowing me to interject there, Dr. Lanfair. And thank you for your follow-up support and explaining that, Ms. Bailey.
Okay, thank you. That was it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will be presenting the updated board report for McNair Middle School. We've been identified as a CSI school, as stated, as a comprehensive support and improvement. Our current accountability rating is a grade letter C with 336 points. Currently, according to our second benchmark assessment results for reading, we have 15 with a 29% deficit. Math proficiency, 13 with a 22% deficit. In science, we are at 13% proficiency with a 31% deficit. Growth for all for reading, we're at 41%, and that's a 31% deficit. In mathematics, 42% for growth for all, and that's a 34% deficit. Yes, sir.
When you say deficit, explain exactly what you're saying.
Sure thing. When I speak of a deficit, our goals are rendering themselves to that first block when you see the overall school goal. So for instance, if I go back down to the percentage for the growth, the bottom 25, the school goal is a 77%. But on the second benchmark, in reading overall, we reached 48%, which leaves us with a 29% deficit. So those numbers that you see in red outline the percentage in terms of where we missed our goal.
Thank you. I want to make sure that's clear.
Yes, sir. In mathematics, we scored 62% in terms of growth for our bottom 25. So that left us at a 38% deficit. And our participation rate, is 96.05 for that second benchmark assessment. And with those scores, we are currently sitting at an accountability rating of 233, which is an F. Total school enrollment for the month of December, 306 students. Our total ADA, 95.05%. Students with 2 or more absences that will be considered chronic, 13%, which is down for 22% for the month of November, and we were grateful for that. Teacher attendance rate, 89%. Number of discipline referrals, 6. For the learning conditions and classroom observations, core action observations, for ELA, 10 on both sides. Mathematics for learning conditions and core actions, 6. The number of classroom observations for science, learning conditions, and core actions, 5. And for history, for both learning conditions and core actions, 2. To address the challenges indicated in the data and the fact that McNair is still listed as a CSI school, the school is focusing on streamlining its instructional processes. This approach ensures that teachers create re-engagement plans based on data protocols to ensure the Tier 1 instruction, meaning the whole group instruction that they provide for the students before they move into small groups, which are prescriptive to the students' needs, and including the small group instruction is streamlined to meet mastery on the spring map assessment in ELA, math, and science. Teachers are consistently using high-quality instructional materials to meet educational standards, and an emphasis on small group instruction, which allows for more personalized and targeted teaching to meet the needs of individual students or specific groups that may require additional support. So all of those things are based on the data that was presented to you. The district has provided instructional support through the following areas. Teacher coaches and high dosage tutors are being deployed. District-based trainings for teachers and administrators in every subject area. Critical friends to provide ongoing coaching support for the ILT with actionable feedback, and learning walks to calibrate and strengthen observations and feedback cycles. Our allocation of resources for the school improvement funding for FY25, the total allocation is $100,000, and we still have the $100,000 pending. For FY24, the total allocation $125,000, and our remaining balance is $98,088.30. The total allocation for FY23. $115,013, and our remaining is $39,331.99. Title funding, FY25 allocation, $257,944.88. Our remaining balance, $160,984.74. For 24, $276,000, $754.82, with our remaining balance at $17,703.68. FY23, the total allocation, $259,000, $259,792.26, with the remaining being $14,877.04. As we move into the breakdown of our data, for our proficiency levels, for ELA, grade 5, because we do have grades 5 through 8 here at McNair. On the second term benchmark, we had 3 students holding steady in terms of being advanced. We did see some movement for level 4 students. We have 14 as opposed to the 11 that we started out. There was a drop with 3B because we started out with 5 students, and then we rolled into 1 with what we did see with the data. We had a couple of students that did move up to a 4 from a 3B. 3A, we have 11 students, 2B, 7, 2A 16, 1B 7, and 1A we have 6. We did see a decrease in 1B. We did have some students that did move up, but we're watching our 1Bs and 1As because we do not want anybody in that area at all. For 5th grade math, we don't have anybody at a level 5. And we moved from having 4 students at a level 4 to 10. 3B, 7, remaining steady. 3A, 9 with the 1 person decrease. We had 13 students at 2B. Now we have 11. 2A, 17. And now we have 18. 1B, we had 16. Now we only have 10. And 1A for MAP, we had 0, and we're still holding at 0 with that one. For our LPS students, no one in ELA for level 5 or level 4. We had 1 to move up to a 3A, 1 to move up to a 2B. We have 7 at 2A, 1B, we have 6 still in that area, and instead of having 2 as we initially started out, we have 3 in the 1A area. For mathematics, no one has reached level 5 or 4. 3B, we still have none in that area. 3A, instead of having 0, we have 1. 2B, we don't have anyone in that category. 2A, we have 6. 1B, we had 16. Then we went down to 10 midterm. Now we have 4. And 1A, no one. For ELA for 6th grade, we started out with 2 students at a level 5. We have 4 now. We had 11 on level 4. We have 8. 11B, we had 11. We have 5 now. 3A, we had 13. Now we have 11. 2B, we had 4. We're at 7. 2A, we had 5. Now we have 10. 1B, we had 10, we're down to 8, and there was no one in that category for 1A 6th grade, but we do see a change because there's a child there that we're tracking. For mathematics, we have 1 that's a level 5. We had 11 at a level 4. And we see that we're down to 4. For 3B, we had 6, we have 4 now. 3A, we had 11, now we have 10. 2B, we had 12, we're down to 9. 2A, we had 8, now we have 18. 1B, holding steady at 6. In the 1A level, we didn't have anyone, and we're holding steady in that area as well in mathematics. Our LPS group for 6th grade ELA, we do have movement for 3A because for 5, 4, and 3B, our numbers are still at 0. For 3A, we were at 0. Now we're at 2. 2B, we've had someone move up to 1. 5A, we had 5. We have 4 now. For 1B, we had 10. We have 5 now. And then we still do not have anyone at 1A. For mathematics in 6th grade LPS, no one at a level 5, no one at a level 4. For 3B, we have 1 student. Now we have 1 student in 3A. We had 4 students at, let me take that back because I'm looking at first now week's benchmark. At 2B, we didn't have anyone. Now we have 1 student. 2A, we had 8. Now we have 9. 1B, we had 6. Now we have 3, and no one is in the 1A area. For 7th grade, we had 1 in ELA that was proficient at the beginning. Now we have 2. Level 4, we had 3. Now we're at 4. 3B, we had 7. We're at 5. 3A, we had 12. Now we're at 13. 2B, we had 17. We're down to 12. We're holding steady at 2A with that subgroup. With 1B, we had 19. We're down to 15, which is a good thing because we're having movement, and we still have one student in the 1A arena. For mathematics, in level 5, we started out with one student in advanced. Now we're down to 0. Level 4, we had 11. Now we have 7. 3B, we had 7. We have 6. At 3A, we had 14. We're up to 22. At a 2B, we had 24 students. Now we have 11. 16, we have a 1 person decrease in that. We had 16, now we're at 15. 1B, we had 4, and it has gone up to 7. For our 7th grade LPS, for our English language arts, we had no one at level 5. We have gained 1 student. For level 4 for the LPS. 3B, we're holding steady at 0. Same with 3A. We gained 1 student at 2B. For 2A, we had 0 students. We have 6 that have moved up. At the beginning, we had 20 students that were 1B, and now we just have 5. And then 1A, we had 1. We have none scoring that low in the LPS in ELA. For 7th grade mathematics, for our LPS, for 5, level 5, level 4, and 3B, we did not have any students. For 3A, we have 5 now instead of the 0. 2B, we had 0, now we have 2. And 2A, we did have 16 students that were scoring 2A, now we just have 4. 1B, we had 4 students, and now we just have 2. So we have seen strides for 7th grade with our LPS. For our 8th grade ELA, at the beginning of the year, we had 3 students that were advanced. Now we have 2. Level 4, we had 8. Now we have 3. For 3B, we had 8 students. Now we have 4. For 3A, we had 22. Now we have 19. For 2B, we had 19. Now we have 8. For 2A, we had 15. Now we have 21. For 2B, we have 19, and now we have 28. And for 1A, we had 1, and we don't have 0. So our students that have moved to this will move down to the 1B arena. We have a lens on them attempting to move them up, because that is going to be key, our 1Bs and our 2As in those areas, because they have increased. For mathematics, we had 1 student that was proficient. Advanced. For level 4 proficient, we had 16, now we have 15. 3B, we have had 18, now we have 12. For 3A, that number was 17, it has moved up to 33. 2B, we have 19, and it has moved up to 23. 2A has decreased from 21 to 7. 1B, we had 3, it has decreased to 1. And 1A is still holding steady with no one in that area. For our 8th grade LPS, we don't have anyone that scored a level 5. We did have 1 student that moved up to level 4. For 3B, we don't have anyone in that category. For 3A, we didn't have anyone, but now we have 1 student that has moved up to a 3A. 2B, we've had 2 students to move up. 2A, we had 4, now we have 7. 1B, we had 19, and it has decreased to 9. And then 1A, we did have 1 student, and now we don't have anyone in that category. For LPS for mathematics, we didn't have anyone to score on level 5. 1 student that scored on level 4. 3B, we had 0, now we're up to 3. 3A, we had 0, now we're up to 8. For 2B, 0, now we're up to 7. We had 21 in 2A, and that has decreased to 3. We had 3 in 1B, that's 0, and 0 in 1A, and we're still holding steady. So we do see some significant strides in that area as well.
afternoon, and here is the monthly board report for Humphreys County High School. Humphreys County High School does not have a school identification. Our current accountability rating is 659 points for a letter grade of B with a graduation rate of 85%. Our goals for this year is to deliver 755 points for an A-rated school. We need 44 proficiency points for reading, 60 proficiency points for math, 32 proficiency points for biology 1, and 31 proficiency points for U.S. history. In growth of all, we need 76 points in reading, 100 points in math, and growth of the bottom 25%, we need 100% in reading and math with a graduation rate of 95% or higher. Based on second benchmark, we got 34% of our students proficient in reading, so we missed that goal by 10%. 41% of our students were proficient in math. We missed that goal by 19%. In biology 1, we missed that goal by 9%, with 23% of our students proficient. And for U.S. history, we had 8% of our students proficient, missing that goal by 23 points. In the growth of all category, we got 69% of our students proficient in reading, missing that goal by 7 points. For math, we had 76% of our students to grow in math. We missed that goal by 24 points. Our participation rate was 94%, so we did not hit our 95% participation rate goal. For growth of bottom 25%, we got 85% of our students to grow in reading, missing that goal by 15%. But we were able to get 100% of our students to grow in math, so we hit our goal of 100% in mathematics for growth of the bottom 25%. Our school enrollment for the month of December was 424 students. Our student ADA was 88.84%. Percent of students with 2 or more absences was 14.6%. Teacher attendance rate, 90.2%. Number of discipline referrals, 8. For observation, the ELA, we had 9, but they came in the form of formal evaluations. We were finishing those up at the end of the semester. So we did 9 formal evaluations for ELA, 9 for math, 11 for science, and 4 for U.S. history. And these numbers are inclusive of the pre-conference observation and post-conference that we had to do with all of our teachers. When we analyzed how the school is addressing areas of challenge presented by the data noted within this document, for the second benchmark data, we have re-engagement plans for spiral review and constant exposure to the content. We are facilitating data talks to create increased urgency and ownership of student data, high dosage tutoring pullouts for proficiency focused students, and low performing subgroups to ensure students hit their accountability goals. Teacher coaching supports to build teacher capacity and small group instruction in classroom settings. Our 10th graders in Algebra 1 actually were not taking Algebra 1 last semester. They are in Algebra 1 this semester. So the teacher is using their benchmark 2 data in addition to their MAP data as baseline data to make sure that she's informing an accelerated instructional approach for those students. We also are having academic interventions, including iReady. We're going to use Jumpstart to kind of improve our ACT accountability, and we're using Progress Learning to support student deficits. How the district is supporting, we have District Data Day. We have learning walks with feedback and next steps. We have principal PLC, and then the district allocates the resources to support all of our instructional goals. Our fund balances. Humphreys County High School does not receive school improvement funds, so we only receive title funds. For FY25, we had a total allocation of $327,615.09, with a remaining balance of $265,797.18. For FY24, we have a total allocation of $372,222.50, with a remaining balance of $67,500.36. For FY23, we had a total allocation of $334,703.60, with a remaining balance of $15,688.54. I do have the printout of my proficiency if I need to read it. I see it's not included. Do I need to just read based on what I have?
Scroll on down, it's not in there.
Okay, yeah, this is me right here. Okay,
Okay.
so we're going to begin with algebra. And if you can look, you see that these particular students in algebra, none of these students came, their baseline data was from 1B to 3A. So we had no students that had baseline data of proficiency. And as you can see, based on their second benchmark data, we are moving those students closer towards proficiency, removing all students from the 1A and 1B range and having more students closer to proficiency, with 21 of those kids moving to levels 3A and 3B. So as Dr. Watson stated earlier, the goal is to always decrease the bottom and see the increases showing in your higher performance levels. For English 2,
And for high school, all of the students must hit level 3 to pass. That's important to note. For the high school courses, all students must hit level 3 to pass. Thank you.
okay. When we look at our English 2 data, again, if we look at the baseline data, we had 31 kids that came over scoring in levels 1A and 1B. We began to look towards the top to see if our students are moving towards proficiency, and we do see that we are having increases in proficiency. We have 35 kids that are projecting to be proficient level 4 or advanced level 5. And we see a very huge decrease in those students at the 1A and 1B, going from 26 to 3 and going from 5 to 1. So we are seeing our students grow from their bottom level closer to the levels of proficiency for English 2. When we look at our biology and U.S. history data, those students do not have baseline data because those students do not take biology and algebra prior to the high school assessment. So we don't have any data to compare it to, which is why we only get proficiency for biology and U.S. history. So those students have a goal of proficiency only. We had 8 students that were proficient in biology for the first benchmark and only 4 students proficient at the second benchmark. Our goal is to have 23 of those students proficient. We are seeing those 23 students in level 3, which is at the next level. So we're very aggressive with our approach to move those students from level 3 to level 4 to hit our proficiency goal. With U.S. history, the same way, we need 46 kids proficient. At the first benchmark, we were targeting about 30 of those kids to be on track for proficiency. Second benchmark, only 16 of those students are on target to be proficient or advanced. But again, we're seeing those students in performance level 3. So we're being aggressive with our approach to get those students to show up in levels 4 and 5 for benchmark 3 and ultimately the MAP assessment. And that concludes the report for Humphreys County.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. And if you would, scroll back down to the end again, Mr. Dixon. What I'll do, I'll modify this report so that, scrolling down, so that we can demonstrate how students are moving toward passing at level 3. But the reason why I presented it, at least I had them presented this way because I wanted you to see that points only come from levels 4 and 5 for biology and U.S. history. Once again, for state tested courses at the high school, the goal is always to pass, but points come for biology and U.S. history come from levels 4 and 5 only. 4 and 5 only. So we need our scholars in class every day so we can, yes, get them to pass. But for U.S. history and biology to impact the accountability rating for Humphreys County High School or Yazoo City High School, we need students to score in the ranges of level 4 and level 5. That's extremely important. And we have a lot of great work going on there. Teacher coaches in the classroom, high dosage tutoring, small group instruction. The work is happening. We need students to show up every day so they can participate in the work. And I believe the next item on the agenda is yours as well, Ms. Bailey. Oh, sorry, Ms. Morris.
All right, Dr. Watkins. Good afternoon, Dr. Watkins, community stakeholders, and colleagues. Thomas C. Randall Career and Technical Center does not have a school identification. Our overall school goal for our 3 NCCER programs is 97% with a 95% participation rate. During the second benchmark period, our first year classes completed 3 NCCER modules, and our year 2 classes completed 2.
So the percentages that you see actually reflect the collective passing rate for those particular modules. In welding, in year one, we had 85.4%. In our year two, we had 83.3%. In construction, we had 75.8%. In carpentry, we had 100%. For heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration, we had 68.4% for our first year class. And for our second year, we had 83.3%. Our participation rate did drop due to some conflicts with Humphreys County High School testing, but we are in the process of retesting them. So currently we sit at 90% for that particular period.
Ms. Morris, let's go back up to that. One thing, it would be helpful if we knew the unit pass rates as well, to make sure that we're on target to match what we did last year or even exceed what we did last year. So please modify to include that. All right?
Will do.
Thanks. And the design that Ms. Strong had was really informational in terms of what we needed. Thank you.
Okay. All right, during the month of December, our total school enrollment was 134. Our teacher attendance rate, 89.5%. The number of discipline referrals was 2. Classroom observations for our learning conditions and core actions in welding, we had 3 and 1. In construction carpentry, we had 3 and 1. Our diversified agriculture program is currently on hold, so we do not have any observations. Health science, we had 2 and 1. Educated preparation, 2 and 1. In HVAC, we also had 2 and 1. Scroll back up a little bit further. Describe how the school is addressing areas of challenge presented by the data noted within this document. Our teachers, as well as our student service coordinator, they utilize online remediation tools and also small group instruction. Teachers are actually facilitating and participating in professional learning communities to gain additional instructional strategies that can be used to improve our student outcomes. Describe what the district is doing to support the school's principal and SLT. The district has provided instructional guidance through monthly professional developments for the director and the school leadership team. Our FY25 total allocation, $35,823.24. As of benchmark 2, we still have the full remaining balance. For FY24 and FY23, we have no remaining balances. And we do not receive title funding. That concludes the board report for Thomas C. Randall Career and Technical Center.
Dr. Watkins, in 3.3, we are requesting your approval of a professional services contract between Humphreys County and CDW Government for equipment installation services.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey, for presenting the last item, 3.3. Before I approve all items on the agenda, I want to go back to 3.1 and 3.2. Principals, if you would, scan back over your reports. You should have a copy of them before you. And I'm going to do a roll call. And I know that we've not really discussed this before, but I need to know, what are you doing to ensure that parents are engaged in this improvement process? So look back over your reports and see if you noted that. And I don't recall if anyone noted that, if anyone noted that. And I want us to go back and school by school where we need to hear from each school. And I'll start with Dr. Epps. Are you still with us, Dr. Epps?
I'm still with you. I'm still with us. So I didn't know that what we were going to do with the parents, but we do have a parent engagement coming up with our parents. We have let me go back. We do have our parent engagement day coming up where we're going to explain to our parents the data and talk to them about what we need them to do going forward to make sure that our scholars are successful and to make sure that the school itself is, is successful as well. And we're gonna have 2 sessions with the parents, one during the day and one at night, one at 10 o'clock during the day and one at 5 p.m. to make sure the parents are able to come out for both. If they miss one, they'll get the other. And so we are doing that. And our teachers we did have a literacy night and a math night in December where we provided parents with some activities they could do at home with their scholars. We did share data with them to let them know what our data was looking like and what we're trying to get to and how far we have to go to get there, just to make sure that they were aware that we're all on the same page and that we're all helping each other do that together. We're going to express that same sentiment at these sessions that we're having that are coming up at the end of January. And also, aside from that, just making sure that we're inviting parents in. We're starting to invite parents into the classroom. I want parents to be able to see their scholars in action and see what they're doing. A lot of times, parents don't know because they haven't had the opportunity to come up. But I do have parents who have been asking if they can come in, and so we're making provisions to get those parents to be able to come in and be able to sit in with their scholars, sometimes and just see what they're learning, what they're doing. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We know we need to increase that, but that is what we're doing as of right now, what we have on calendar to do.
All right, so Dr. Epps, you referenced a day that's coming up when parents will be coming during the daytime and then one later that afternoon or later that evening, so you can identify more or engage more parents. Now that's for 3rd grade, isn't that correct?
Yes, it is. It is for 3rd grade. ELA is for 3rd grade math, but it's for parents. But it's not just for. It is for 3rd grade ELA and math. But we're gonna be doing things like that overall. We did something like that in December, and it was for our 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade parents. We did that in December, and that's something that we're not just. This wasn't just a one-off. It's something that we're gonna continue doing, just to make sure that we're engaging those parents and teaching them strategies they can use at home.
Okay, but I just want to clarify, but what your name was
Oh,
specific.
yes,
Third grade.
that is specifically for the 3rd grade gate, because we do want our parents to understand how critical this test is, and we want them to know what they can be doing at home.
And have you announced that date to your parents yet?
We have the flyer, and so we're sending the flyers out tomorrow, and we're also doing our parent square announcement tomorrow, and then we're also going to do that again on Monday, and so we're doing it in increments to make sure our parents come out.
And be sure to work with Mr. Dixon to get it out on Facebook and, like I said, all of our other venues as well. That's why he's there to support you, to make sure it goes out through every venue that we have, that we access to communicate with our parents. All right, Dr. Belcher. Dr. Belcher, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. So to engage our parents, we're also going to do those parent monthly meetings at the end of January, February, all the way up until we begin testing. We always start to do an initial meeting in January where we introduce, let them know we're getting into testing season, and we send out those memos out with a letter to the parents. And we also have a parent meeting at the school. We also make sure that we engage with our parent liaison, who does a lot of our communication for us with our parents, where she gets everything out to my parents and get their input on some things. We've added a parent to our school leadership team to help in that, to also be a advocate for the parents and to also help us in getting the word out to the parents about the direction that we are going here at the school.
And there should be a parent and student on each of your leadership teams. Isn't that correct for each school? Dr. Belcher?
Yes, the parent and the student is, yes, a parent and a student is on our team. But for the parent engagement, yes, we have.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Belcher. Dr. Sharon Brown? Dr. Sharon Brown, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Your parent
Okay,
engagement?
some of the things that we're planning on doing is We've already met with the senior parents, and we'll continue to have meetings with them every month to keep them kind of up to speed on some of the events that we have going on with the seniors, and also informing them about any of their students who may need to still take tests. And in an effort to be proactive, we are starting our meetings with the 11th grade parents and students to kind of get some things in order for not only this year, because they have that U.S. history test to take, and to also inform them about how important that is. And again, having parents know that students need to be at school every day, as well as the days that they have to test. So we're planning on those kind of meetings. We have some parent academies coming up as well, some which will take place through Gear Up that Mr. Woodson is spearheading, and as well as having our core area teachers to have their children at home, just some questions that they may be able to ask to gauge what level of engagement their students are having at the school. And also having meetings with the 10th grade students and parents to let them know how important not only your classroom grade is, but in passing and being proficient on the test that you have to take. Since you have 3 tests to take, we need you to know that it's important that you be here again every day, and that we inform parents of what's going on and how these tests are kind of high stake tests for the students. So we want them to know how important they are as well.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Ms. Strong?
Okay, we've already had our fall parent advisory committee meeting, and we will schedule one in the spring where we talk to our parents about our goal, our 97% for the industry certifications for this school year, and we'll keep them abreast as we have the next meeting in the spring. We also have had community walks where we talk to the stakeholders about our embedded work-based learning hours, as well as our goal for our industry certification, and then the monthly call logs. Teachers have to reach out and talk to parents about if the students are on track for getting those certifications.
Thank you, Ms. Strong. Dr. Lanfair?
Yes, our parents receive weekly communication from teachers and administrators, but we're also working on a 3rd grade parent night where our 3rd grade parents could come and they could get takeaways to help their children at home to be successful on 3rd grade tests. And we're planning a kindergarten parent night as well. And also in April, we're looking at having a curriculum night. And that curriculum night, it will be for all grades, but we're looking at where students can explain their data to parents. Now I know it's going to look a little different for the primary grades, but 3rd and 4th grades, they're going to be at the point where they can actually explain their data to the parents, where they are, where they need to be, and so on. And we're still working on the logistics of that, but we will send out some more information about that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Thomas?
We are vetting some of the informational videos we've already made for the campus teachers to make sure that we don't send out any super sensitive information, but we want to widen our pool for not teachers, but our parents to pull from, because our teachers do communicate with parents weekly via Parent Square, but because we've had to provide some modules that were created by the ILT, those will be beneficial for parents as well to see what's going on and understand what's at stake and some of the things they can do to assist us to make sure that they're prepping the students. But that's going to be our major push, because we can deploy that electronically via Parent Square.
Okay. When you say modules created by the IoT, what exactly are those?
When we run into different areas where we want to reiterate something, Mr. Young and I create videos via Canva and send them to the teachers, and then we make sure that they view them by providing a Google form, and there are specific questions on those forms.
Okay. All right. Ms. Tanner?
Yes, sir. So we are trying to be a little bit more intentional with making our walls talk, so that as parents and other community members come into our school and our foyer in our common areas, they'll see different data artifacts that kind of lend itself to where we are as a school, where we're trending, so they're always in the know with what's going on at Humphreys County High School. We also have our parent and our student and a community person on our leadership team, so we're trying to have all stakeholders involved in that. Also, we have our community learning walks where we do communicate to the stakeholders where we are as a school, our different data points, and so that they can be informed. And we're also planning a data night as we get closer to the third benchmark, so that we can just ensure everybody knows where students are, what their goal is, so we can be sure to hit our goal of 755.
Thank you. Ms. Morris?
Here at Randall, of course, we're gonna have our spring advisory committee meetings, but we're also implementing, during the month of February, which is CT awareness, we're gonna do a community showcase, in collaboration with our community learning walk. And of course, we use Parent Square for communicating with parents.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Morris. So, principals with students in grades 3 through 8 and the high school state tested courses, did parents receive any information that tells them what proficiency level their children were on for the second benchmark, and how that information should be used to help that child reach the level of proficiency that you need them on? Did parents receive anything like that?
Our students, parents got the report from ELS, that report.
Okay. So I want us to be as detailed as we can be with our parents to know exactly what we're trying to reach. So when we do the required monthly board reports for the community, that's required as by the Mississippi Department of Education, because we have schools and school improvement, that's high level information. And parents want to know, what does that mean for that individual child? So you say you need children that are proficient. You say you need children who need to grow. You don't need students in the LPS. So do we know if little Jane, Sally, or Sue are actually in the LPS category, or do you just send me a report? So what I would like for all schools to do who have MAP state tested courses by January 31st, send your parents, once again, those reports from ELS that's appropriate from that. Dr. Brown, Dr. Samitra Brown on the Yazoo City side, Ms. Bailey on the Humphrey side, you all come to an understanding of which report that we need to pull from ELS that will communicate what's necessary to the parent in terms of what their child's projected level of proficiency is, and what the child needs to do to grow to the level of proficiency where we need him or her to be. I want parents to track this information with us. For example, if you need Sally, Jane, or Sue to be level 4 for a state exam when we test later this semester, was Sally, Jane, or Sue level 4 from benchmark 2? And if they were not, what do they need to be doing to get ready for benchmark 3? In order to hit that level. So let's engage our parents as detailed as we possibly can to help them know where their children are. Yes, they get grades, they get the report cards, but when it comes to state testing, we need more detailed information. We need to make sure parents get what they need to be successful and having the right kinds of conversations with their children. And as I heard Dr. Lanford mention, having student-directed parent-teacher conferences about their data. That means that when Miss whomever asks their child, what's your proficiency projection that you need to hit for state exams? Little Earl needs to say, this is what I need to hit for my state exam, but this is what I did on benchmark 2. And this is what I'm gonna do to hit benchmark 3 where it needs to be. Ms. Bailey, Dr. Brown, is that pretty clear about what I'm looking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So by January 31st, we need to have that information sent home to parents. so that parents know what our goals are for their children and how they can support what we're doing. So principals, when you have these parent meetings, you have then given parents what they need to have a credible conversation with their teachers about what their children need to do. Number one, in the elementary schools, what they need to do to pass the state exam for MAP grade level 3. Because we know that grade level 3 ELA, you must hit a level 3 in order to pass it. But now we're pushing level 4, so you don't have any question about passing. But the state says you need at least a level 3 in order to pass the state Literacy-Based Promotion Act exam, which is the MAP grade level 3 ELA exam. Right? So let's be very transparent with our parents about the information that they need, what parents can be doing at home to support you in the success of their children on these exams. And once again, at the end of the day, we take care of children and we help them get the most from what we provide for them so they can be the scholars that we know they can be. Upon graduation, they have access to opportunities. Their school experience should not pigeonhole them into one thing, because when they graduate, they didn't get the best from us. Our children need the best from us every day, so that upon graduation, our children have choices. And they can only have choices when they perform well. That's extremely important. So principals, I thank you for your presentations tonight. Dr. Brown, Ms. Bailey, thank you for leading these discussions around the monthly board reports. And once again, in approval of the agenda, all items on the discussion action agenda are approved. Once again, items 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 are approved. That brings us to the adjournment of number 4, and the meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening.